YouTube. This is Ashen Wolf here. I am an extrasensory psychic coach, shaman, completion process and parts work facilitator. You can find out more about me at lushheartsblossoming.com. Self-love is an energy of bringing yourself closer, of having intimacy with yourself. We are each an individual expression of source consciousness, and within that individual expression we have things that are better for our life path, our life purpose, our body, our mind, our spirit, our emotions, and things that are out of our best interest, things that do not serve that purpose, that do not serve our specific individualized body, that do not serve our individualized mind, that do not serve our present moment, our embodiment, who we are in that moment, who we want to be in that moment. Self-love is a choice to say, okay, you know what? I'm going to walk in that direction because this is in alignment with my purpose and my path and what's good for me. And when we honor our best interests, when we honor self-love for us on this planet, we are also offering the individual expression of who we are to the world. When you water a flower and you give it soil and sunlight, guess what? Now the entire world gets to enjoy that flower. We are extremely unique beings. This is a unity consciousness, a oneness consciousness, multiverse. But right here on the physical dimension, we are the most individualized, the most unique, the most separate from that unity that you can get. Each person has so much individualized preference and likes and dislikes, and the way that our nervous system and our brain works are all different, and what we want to do in our life purpose is different, and what gifts we have and what weaknesses we have to serve the world, it's all different. It's what makes us us. And self-love is the action of honoring the best interest of us as an individual and choosing us and choosing to be us in our life. What's the opposite of self-love? Self-hate. Self-hate is where most of humanity is today. And there's a spectrum. There's a different degree to which you're loving yourself each day and hating yourself each day. Most humans on this planet today don't really love themselves. Especially in areas in the world where we're super separate and we're super disconnected from each other. Self-hate is an action of like attacking yourself. You're literally like hitting yourself with your words and punching yourself and literally going towards things that are going to create damage in your body and going to kill you long term, and bashing our head against things and experiencing things that don't serve us and we don't like. And I want to make it clear that no other animal on this planet is doing that. Every other animal on this planet is like, okay, if a lion's attacking me, that sucks, let's run. But humans are the only ones that turn into the lion and rip themselves apart stride from stride every day. When we show up to love ourselves, we're doing things like making choices that respect our boundaries, and we're showing up to say, I trust myself, I care about myself. It can be an action of caretaking ourselves, it can be an action of supporting ourselves and our goals, going towards experiences that serve our purpose and that serve who we are and that feel good. It can be things like simply taking care of ourselves, drinking enough water, eating the right things. It's all showing up to love yourself. It's saying no to someone when you don't want to do something. It's saying, no, you can't treat me like that when somebody treats you a bad way or says something to you that you don't like. It's sometimes showing up and saying, actually, this is my opinion and I don't care that it's different than yours. I'm going to stand in it. It's deciding to do things for yourself in the name of yourself because you get to love yourself. There's this entire industry in the world today that takes self-love as this narcissism and this self-focus. Narcissism is when we don't give a shit about other people. It's when we're never going to consider them. It can actually be self-loving to consider other people because we're all connected and we're connected to this intimacy. And actually, the more you love yourself, the easier it is to actually feel good, and it feels self-loving to actually go take someone else's best interest at heart. This is our community. This is our tribe. This is our world. It's gonna feel good to love other people. It's gonna be self-loving to love other people. It's not a bad thing to love yourself. There's nothing narcissistic about it. If you don't stand up for you, if you don't take care of your body, if you don't take care of your preferences, you're not being you. You're not being the unique expression of the being that you call by your name. You're being somebody else. You're being against yourself. And if you don't live your life in your body with your right to being you and taking care of yourself, then who the hell is going to do it? Who is going to live your life for you in that respect? When we are not loving ourselves, it looks like judging ourselves. It looks like picking ourselves with our judgmental thoughts and why did you do this? Why did you think this? Why aren't you doing this more? It looks like self-shame. Have you ever noticed how when you're out in public, most of the time, we judge others far less than we judge ourselves? There's people going by that have so much higher diversity than us, and we're there like, oh my god, do they see my hair today? We would never judge other people the way that we judge ourselves for the most part. We hurt ourselves in the way we talk to ourselves, and we have these high standards that choke us in a way that we would never do to someone else. And, you know, especially in the dating world, we're convinced like, oh my god, nobody would ever love someone who's a little bit overweight, and oh my god, nobody would ever love somebody who looks like I do. And you know, I have clients that say this to me and I'm like, listen, do you hear yourself? Would you ever say that about a girl? Would you ever say that about a woman? Would you ever actually judge a woman like this, or that be the reason that you wouldn't date her, right? Like, we all get to have preferences, but usually the reason that we're making ourselves unlovable is ridiculous in reality, and it's because we have been taught to not accept ourselves. That's another thing, is self-love and the opposite of self-love, which is self-hatred, is a deep experience of not accepting yourself for who you are, of shaming yourself, of pushing yourself away, of keeping yourself at bay. So what is the root of why I'm talking to myself the way that I'm talking to myself? And you can play a game. How would I feel if I heard my loved one talking about themselves that way? And then you can find the root of where your standards are coming from. What is the positive intention of that voice inside your head? What does it really want for you? What is it trying to do? Because we don't have any aspect of ourselves that is really against us in any way. It's figured out a strategy to protect itself from the world, to protect itself from being pushed away first, from being hated first. It is strategizing how to survive in this world the way that it is. When we're growing up, we're not taught how to love ourselves for the most part. We're mostly taught how to hate ourselves. And it's not our parents' intention, but it's what they end up doing. When we learn about ourselves from the outside world, we're learning from this mirror all around us. And when somebody gives us an experience or says something to us, we make it mean something about ourselves, right? If they're like tired and they don't want anything to do with us that day, we put that onto ourselves and we say like, what's wrong with me that they don't want me right now? When somebody disconnects from us and pushes us away, we make it mean something about ourselves. We have experiences where we were shamed. We have experiences where somebody went up to us and they didn't like that thing about us and they made us wrong for that thing. And so now we think, obviously that thing about me is so unacceptable. So we have to start by understanding that we don't love ourselves, or the degree to which we don't love ourselves, and owning, okay, I'm actually not loving myself all the time. I'm actually moving and working against myself a lot of the time. I'm actually pushing against myself a lot of the time. So we need to fully own how we don't love ourselves. And we can even make lists of all the ways that we don't love ourselves. And then we can make lists of all the ways that we already are choosing self-love each and every day, and all the ways that we actually do love ourselves, and all the ways that we actually put effort into showing up for ourselves and taking our best interests each and every day. So we need to become aware of how we don't love ourselves and how we don't take our best interest at heart. And then we need to take small incremental steps each and every day in the choices that we make to go towards the frequency of self-love. So figure out what a frequency of self-hate is that you go towards each day, and a frequency of self-love, and really take some time to let the difference in the vibration sink in. You can feel the emotion behind it. You can feel like, does it feel like more like acid on one side and more like hugs and cuddles on the other side? You know, the frequency of self-love to me kind of feels like this soothing pink energy running through your body. It feels like this cleansing waterfall. So, or this, feel into the vibration of what that feels like. And then when you make choices throughout the day, you can feel into and just acknowledge, okay, that actually wasn't a self-loving choice, what I just did there. And not with the air of judgment, with the air of awareness. When you're making choices, to realize that you're at a crossroads each and every time you have a choice in front of you, each and every time you decide what you're going to do next or how you're going to respond to something, you have a choice between to show up to hate yourself or to love yourself in that moment. And the more we incrementally adapt ourselves to the frequency of self-love, it's like if you're in a hospital bed and you keep on ripping open your wounds every day, you're never going to heal. The more we incrementally sink into the vibration of that clear water, of that pink soothing energy, the more we become that in our lives, the more we can start actually healing and moving forward, and it will become easier and easier to love ourselves. And any emotion, any part of you that is against loving yourself, you get to go into it through parts work and completion process, 2 methods of shadow work, which I'm going to link information on below in my videos, to help you actually go into the emotion and the thought process it, alchemize it, and change it. A really great way to create the frequency of self-love in your body is to choose self-loving water and to choose self-loving foods to begin with. So spring water, or raw foods like vegetables and fruits, and whatever feels like self-loving food to you. And then before you eat the food or before you drink the water, to actually project in to that thing you're about to consume that becomes a part of your body the frequency of self-love. So you're embedding and imbuing the frequency of self-love into the thing that you're about to consume. And I hope that you enjoyed this video, and I hope that you know that it's okay, whatever spectrum you're on, to loving yourself or hating yourself, because I see you and I've been there. I know what it is to hate yourself. I have come from a deep, deep, deep place of self-hatred, and I took incremental steps to become somebody that actually can stand here and say that I love myself. And it was a long journey, and it's a never-ending journey, and I am giving you my hand to say, let's take it together. I'm here with you. I see you. Your pain matters. What you've been through matters. You are not broken for no reason. Whatever you're going through in your life, in reality, I give you, my dear, all my love here and now, exactly as you are.